Well, how many of us have trouble letting go of attachment to certain items when looking to downsize?
Joining us this morning with some tips on this is Lisa Soma with Organizing by Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Always a special treat to have to learn these tips for me as well. I mean, I love kind of taking it home with me. So.
Right. We all have parents, grandparents, maybe even a neighbor or relative who is going to be downsizing in the future at some point. And you know, we get calls from people, I or my mom and dad are moving from their 4,000 square foot home that they've been in for 35 years, and they're either downsizing to a smaller home, an apartment, maybe senior living, and they need to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. Nowadays, the thing is, kids don't want their parents' things anymore, and there's a lot of that stuff out there. So there's a lot of china, a lot of pictures, a lot of sentimental items that have to go somewhere, but yet taking care of the feelings of the person who is letting go of those things. So like a good friend of mine told me, she said, you provide heart and home services, because a lot of times it is an emotional thing for people to do. So this morning I thought I asked you two to bring in something that means a lot to you. So we're just gonna go around and just tell us a little bit about what you brought in.
I grew up, I spent all of my childhoods at my grandparents' lake cabin during the summer in Minnesota, and so I brought a coaster because we actually sold the lake cabin earlier this year. So I'm the opposite, where they told me, like, I was stealing things. I was like, I want these memories. So so I brought a coaster. It's just got a little picture of our lake on it and the name. So I keep this on my coffee table every day. So
very good. Yeah, it has meaning to you. Very good. And
okay, I brought a picture. This is my grandma, and oh my, she's probably the most important woman in my life. I love my grandma so much. If you know me, you know I call her at least once a week. I mean, we talk all the time. So this picture is very special to me. I just printed it this year, finally framed it, got it, you know, out. I keep it in my, you know, closet so I can always look at her. And I mean, just a great reminder. It's hard. It would be hard for me to let that go, for sure.
That's wonderful. And to hear you, someone of your age or generation, that you printed out a picture. That doesn't happen very often, you know, like maybe 30 and under. You don't have a lot of printed pictures anymore. So you don't have all these albums that are full of pictures, or all these loose pictures, you know, drawers and drawers full of pictures, shoe boxes full.
Boxes full.
Yeah.
I mean, real tubs.
And that's the hardest thing to go through. So I always tell people, when you're downsizing, decluttering, whatever, don't start with pictures, because you'll get caught there. And a lot of people will say, I can't do pictures with family, because you will just sit there and reminisce. You won't get anything done. So that's just, you know, a tip is to kind of go through, get rid of the ones that are blurry, get rid of the ones that have people on them that you don't know anymore, because there are generations, and you know, kids further down the line don't know who's in those pictures. So do you want to keep them? They're not, you know, it's your choice. But that's just a couple tips. And then the thing I brought to share this morning, this was my grandmother's. It sat on her hutch for years and years, and she passed away when I was 13. So my parents actually got this and took it home, and we had it home growing up. And when I got married, my mom and dad wrapped that up. I didn't know anything about it. They wrapped it up and they gave it to me as a gift from grandma. So that was really nice. And so I actually have it sitting out all the time. I actually keep napkins in it, so it's useful and purposeful. And that's kind of what you have to think of when you're downsizing things. Well, how can I use this or reuse this in a new way to give it a new purpose? Because a lot of things, there aren't hutches, and there aren't china hutches and that kind of thing anymore to store that stuff in, so you got to make it purposeful. And then another tip, if you have a collection of things, like a lot of ladies will have collections of bells or ornaments or precious moments or Hummels or whatever it is. So if you can think of it in terms of not having to get rid of something, but I get to keep this many, you know, half of my collection or whatever, and then just go with your gut and pick out the two favorites, and then pack the rest away. Just get them out of your sight, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So
and you're still keeping that piece and that sentimental value.
Right. And another trick is to maybe take a picture of your collection. At least then you'll have you can look at that and remember.
Photos.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And I really like that you talked about repurposing stuff and just finding new ways to use it. You know, it might not have been your choice of decor, but there's always great antiques and stuff, and I think that that's really, really cool.
Right.
And reusing it sometimes is better than going out and
Yeah.
buying. I mean, these cups right now, I'll tell you, are trending.
They're trendy.
They're
Yeah,
trending.
the vintage.
People are going out and buying vintage cups like this, and it's sometimes you hold on to things and you don't realize how
Yes,
special it is. I mean,
Yeah.
really, truly.
Yeah,
So-
those are I just collect different ones. And at my house, what I like is having everybody have a different glass so that you can kind of remember which one's yours.
Yeah.
They don't all look alike, and you're like, is this one mine? Was this one mine? So that's why.
Yeah, and I think it makes it more
Yeah.
festive and fun when
Yeah.
they're kind of not so it's not so matched and not
Yeah,
so
not matchy,
particular.
matchy.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
Yep.
love it, and yeah, these are beautiful glasses, and thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us today.
you're
These were
welcome.
great tips, and hopefully you can apply them to your life.
Yes.